Most of Fort Stalwart had regular Tolstey Army troops, but this area was a little different. We were in Central. The fort was broken up into 5 major areas, and each of them had its own division of troops. Central, the rough circle in the middle of the base, was the location of the base's training facility for high-status trainees. Along with orb-Bonded and nobles, the schoolhouse processed guard officers and politically connected wannabes, or charity cases. The fact that aristocrats could receive military training had surprised me in the past. Now I knew that it wasn't uncommon for a noble family to send a daughter to the army for various reasons. Central was also where the oddballs, like my team, were stationed. The fact that we were orb-bonded was not the only reason we were attached to the 99th Training Regiment. Other Tolstey Army divisions utilized bonded soldiers as officers, especially the 40th Infantry Division. This fact had surprised me a couple years ago. In the past, I'd thought all orb-bonded were adventurers, or politicians, or even soldiers in other countries. Just about anything paid better than the Tolstey Army. When I'd asked her about it, Sergeant Major Rackles had explained that some orb-bonded outlived their families and didn't have much in life to anchor them. These types found the army reassuring, grounding. There were also a number of Tolstey patriots, too, or past adventurers who had grown tired of the uncertainty of adventuring. The army provided a legitimate career, a few perks, and a new family of sorts. With the command sergeant major on my mind, I actually spotted her across the sandy formation area and moved that direction. I pretended not to notice the looks I got from some of the others around me as I moved. Most of the soldiers assigned to Central were trainees or instructors, so all the specials stood out even more. Sometimes when I overheard the whispered things people said about me, my ears still burned. As I got closer, I examined CSM Rackles with a critical eye. Now that I knew her better, I also knew she'd refused a Dolos orb for years, fearing that the brass would try giving her a commission. She wanted a contract in writing that she could remain an NCO, and nobody would give her one. Yet. Despite the fact that she was not bonded, I knew the graying woman was rotting dangerous. Her uniform and appearance were entirely within regulation, but she managed to pack an arsenal all the same. The rings on her fingers and pins that adorned her uniform were all enchanted devices, and I knew she had plenty of weapons I couldn't see, too. I'd actually witnessed her take her belt off a year ago and use it as a sword. Rackles, a master sergeant at the time, had been the first soldier I'd spoken to all those years before when I'd stumbled into the desert looking for the army. It must have been fate. She'd been promoted a year ago and had taken command of the entire 99th, which included the specials groups. We were unofficially just known as the Fort Stalwart Specials, but technically attached to the 99th, and that meant Rackles was the top of my immediate chain of command. I walked up to CSM Rackles, and she rendered a quick salute. After I nodded, she dropped her hand as well as her professionalism, rolling her eyes at Ineos, my spear. "Do you have to carry that damn thing around everywhere, Captain Hazard?" "Damn right I do. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it." "When are you ever going to need your spear in formation? Besides, can't you just minimize it on your wrist? Remember that assassin a little over a year ago?" As soon as I'd spoken the words, my eye twitched. That killer had been good, and she'd almost gotten me. I still didn't know who'd sent her, but I could make a couple of guesses. She must have been paid well to have actually joined the Hell's Favor Guard as an officer and get sent here for training, all just to have a shot at me. Rackles spit. "Yes, and I also remember you didn't kill her with your big damned spear. You split her in half with that disturbing ring you always wear and terrified most of the 99th students. For someone worried about your reputation, you sure do plenty of things to make it grow. Look at how you come to formation." She lifted an eyebrow at me. I grumbled, because despite being irritating, there had been some truth to what she'd said. Most of the other soldiers called me Hazardous Nora, or Nora the Hazard, at least in private. The way some of them even properly referred to me as Captain Hazard made me inwardly wince. I could stomach fear, or even disgust, but people looking at me with pride? It made me uncomfortable. Despite being surrounded by weirdos, the truth was I loved the army.